name. There's no name. There's no God like the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We bless you today. We thank you for the breath that you breathed into us this morning, that you allowed us to come alive today. We come here today, Abba, just to give honor to you. The day that you set apart, that all men can honor you. So we ask today, as Moses said, if we have found favor in your sight, and thou was with our presence today, revive thy people. You have scattered us, but you also promised that you would gather us. So we say, send forth your spirit to the four winds of the earth and draw your people. Father, as we begin this new cycle, we thank you that you have brought us through a cycle, but now we're about to enter into or begin another cycle. We want to thank you for the spring feast, the redemption through Yeshua HaMashiach, the blood of the Lamb. We want to thank you for that. We want to thank you for the day of Pentecost when the Holy Spirit came down and empower your people. We want to thank you for Yom Teruah, for waking us up. Yom Kippur for the Day of Atonement. So we look forward to the day that we tabernacle with you. So we ask that you will open our eyes and we may behold wonderful things that are in your Torah. Give us ears to hear. Lead us and guide us. You are the good shepherd. You know the way through the wilderness. So we're here today because you have summoned us by your spirit. Now lead us and guide us in the mighty name of Yeshua. In the mighty name of Yeshua, the shepherd of all shepherds. Father, let's guys. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Onamat ilaw ko shalamari kita. Olabaliki ilaw ko lamata silaw ko lapita. Hinarala ko ni senarita lika ilaw ko da. Hinarala ko na sinarala ko nilaki narako da si pinaka. Hinatilaw ko da si barikati. Hinarala ko si marilakita. Hina shalani no ko na shalakita. Hina shalakotita. Hola shela kurabatita, hola shela kurabatita mojima, hina eloka shi kurabatito, hina rikota shela morikiti, hola di kurabatita rikito, hina kurakasi kurabatita. Peace. God is an interpreter. Don't be afraid. God is an interpreter. Come forth.
For I am the God of all gods. I am your God. But there are times now that seems very, very strange. But let not your heart be troubled, for things that are strange now, then you will see even stranger things. But just know that I am God, and just know that I am the beginning, I am the end. And just know that I have a place in my heart for every man that calls on the Lord God as his Savior. And you don't have to worry about perilous times, because I always take care of my people. So never fear, for I have not given you any fear. I have not given you any discouragement. I am your God, and never fear, never even wonder. Don't even let your heart be troubled, because these are the times where prophecies will come forth. These are the times where you will understand more now than you've ever understood before. These are the times where you will see me working you where you never thought a work would even come out of you. These are the times where you will begin to get on your knees more, and you're wondering, why are you even on your knees? But these are the times that I will walk with you. It will seem that you're not even existing sometimes. Sometimes you'll even wonder, why are you even here? But never fear, there is a reason. There is a reason. And just know that everything is in time and in season. And I will never leave you. No, I will never, ever forsake you.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You do how great I am, how great thou art in the Thank you. Praise Him. He's worthy of praise. It's just a rehearsal. That's all this is. It's just a rehearsal.
Hallelujah. Yes. Hallelujah.
Day in His presence. The psalmist says, I would rather dwell in the house of the Most High than to dwell in the tents of the wicked. He said, one day is better than 1,000 years.
Yes.
One day he had a touch from the King.
Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. I pray that the sermon was a blessing and the Spirit of the Most High. Maybe you came in here with a heaviness, but now it's just everything feels like it's going to be okay. Amen. It's going to be okay. Maybe you seated in the presence of the Most High. I know that my oldest son, he has a game today, so if you see my wife and exiting out, that's what they're doing. He's in college, and so every now and then we gotta go and support them. It is not good to look in the stands and you ain't got no support. Amen. Amen. So the scripture said that it is good to do good on the Shabbat. Amen. So what time y'all leaving? Said right now. Father, we bless you. We thank you for my wife, and thank you, Father, for my family. Took the time out to come to exalt your name, to give you something, Father. And Father, I just ask for a traveling grace to be with them, Father, and that you will watch over them and keep them, Father, even as they going and even as they coming back. We thank you that you, until I commit them into your hand, Father, in the mighty name of Yeshua. Amen.
Take 146.
Oh yeah, it was a Mad Max. I told y'all that's why I need a helicopter.
All right, Pastor, 146 translation.
I knew that'd get y'all. All right, kids, y'all make. And Roy was in. He was training with a helicopter, right, Roy?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But I'm like, nah, Roy, stop that, man. Nah, man, get out the sky, man.
Yeah, I find helicopter.
Yeah, so he did. So we was almost there. We was almost there. All right, so the kids in there. Guys, I want to thank y'all once again. Oh, what a last day of the Feast of Tabernacle. Was it not awesome? Oh, that was awesome. I'm still on the mountain. I'm trying, where all these people come from. I mean, we didn't do no advertising, none of that, you know. And so that was a picture to me, even an inspiration that the last great harvest, John said, I saw a number that you could not number. And so he had places, people planted everywhere. And when the vineyards are when there's workers in the house to handle them, then he will bring. Because if he bring the fruit before us and there's no people in position, then you know, I don't care how much fruit you have, if there's no one to pick it, it dies in the field. Am I right?
Right.
And so it's not that that we're waiting on him, he's waiting on us to get in position. Very important. And so I want to thank everyone that came, everyone that sung, everyone that brought food. Like I say, it was incredible. So I hope that y'all saw that. You know, it was incredible. I'm gonna give a one or two people that wants to say something. You already said something on Monday, Thursday. Anyone want to share anything from that experience? That's last Sunday or this Sunday? Anybody? Just raise your hand. I know that somebody got something out of that. Was it beautiful?
Yeah.
I love the way that my wife and Mike and them, they orchestrated it. I mean, it was like we had everybody in here, over 60-some people in here, and it was like it was just a smooth sailing. So knowing that how the Spirit of Yah was in this place, governing place, we had more food. We want to thank everyone that's coming. If the wards are watching it, we want to thank y'all for participating. You know, everyone, I really appreciate that. And it just, I didn't have to do nothing. I was like, man, can I do something? But you know, I got to throw on an apron and do something. I got to pick up some trash. And so that's part of the shepherd heart in me. So I want to thank you, House of Study, for making that last great day an awesome celebration. Hallelujah. Once again, those who are watching, we want to greet you to our Shabbat service. And with us, you need your Bible. Yes, you do. Pencil and paper, you need that. This is a new cycle, okay? We have begun in doing an introduction to the Torah, but I want to do something today because the question had came up, okay? And so I want to make sure, as Peter said in 1 Peter 3:15, that you always have to give a hope, okay? What's in you. As Peter says, sanctify Jehovah in your heart to give an answer of those that ask why you do what you do. And the word that he used as answer is the Greek word apologetic, not apologize. Apologetic, always to defend why you do certain things. Very important. And so the young lady had asked about the Shabbat, and so I wish that she was going to be here because I was going to touch on the Shabbat, and I'm already there, so I might as well go there because I call the title "Chillin on the Sabbath." I might as well, and I pray that somehow somebody can put the background, the music, "Chilling in the Sabbath" on there when it's coming on.
I hear you.
Let's go to Ephesians chapter 2. We'll pick it up in verse 19. Brother Marcel, verse 19. Very important dealing with this subject. It has to be nailed, okay? It has to be dealt with. And so I want to give you ammunition and even bring assurance to those who already know, but to be able, your family members or your co-workers or just your people who are around in your world, they asking these questions. And so I want you to be able to explain to them from a biblical text. Very important. So in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19, right? Start at verse 19.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19.
Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints of the household of Yah, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yeshua HaMashiach himself being a chief cornerstone.
Okay, now hold it right there. No, this is very important. Why did I start with that text? Because you need to understand that Paul is saying that the apostles, okay, that the early church, the first century church, was built on the apostles' doctrine. Am I right? You have to understand that. So where did the apostles get their doctrine from? Yeshua. Where did Yeshua say he got his doctrine from? From the Father. So that means straight up Torah. Am I right? So the early church, okay, is built on the apostles' doctrine. That is the foundation, is the Torah. And notice that what he said, that Yeshua being the chief cornerstone. The chief cornerstone is what the building was built on. So now, if I remove the chief cornerstone, then I can bring in another doctrine. So if I move Yeshua from the building, and then I'm going to build something that's not biblical, that's not first century. It's very important because you're going to see that. And that's exactly what's happened. But because you never knew the foundation, you think that that's the original building. But it's not. So it's built on apostle doctrine. So what are you saying? That if you want to know what the early church did, you got to know in the book of Acts. That's the history of the church. So we're going to look at what did they do. We can argue all day long about what they said, but we're going to look at the evidence. What did they do? Very important. And they are the foundation. And if we remove the foundation, the scripture said, then what shall the righteous do? So you cannot build on any doctrine unless you have a foundation. And Messiah is the foundation. He is the chief cornerstone. So everything must be built on him. If you remove him, then we have a problem right there. We have a problem. So now let's deal with children on the Sabbath. Let's go to the book of Vayikra, because we got a lot to cover here. The book of Vayikra. That is the book of Leviticus. We'll look at verse 23. Chapter 23, verse 2. So what we're going to do is look at this here, and by today, you will know how to explain to people from the scripture. You're going to have a lot of scripture today. A lot. So the first thing I want you to see that the Shabbat is a feast. Now, we have several feasts that we do once a year, but the Shabbat we do every week. That's a rehearsal every week. So now, go ahead. I'm going to try not to give that much commentary. Go ahead.
Vayikra chapter 23, verse 2. Speaking to the children of Israel and saying to them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day is the Shabbat of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is a Sabbath of Jehovah in all your dwellings.
Because you know I was coming in. So notice this here, that it is a feast of Jehovah. What is the Shabbat? It is a feast that we celebrate every week. That's why it's coming. I'm being so excited because we're going to fellowship a feast. You bring food and you celebrate and so on, so on. So what I wanted you to see right away, that it's a feast of Jehovah and not a feast of the Jews. Destroy that right away. So we are to meet every Shabbat. Okay? Now watch this here. Now, let's go to Luke. Luke chapter 4. And we're going to pick it up in verse 14. Now, let's see. What did our teacher do? Because I can call myself a Christian, I can call myself a Baptist or whatever, but the question is, are you imitating your teacher or a denomination? Very important, because a disciple, well, we say in our Strong's dictionary, we say a Christian is Christ-like. So as the young man in the park asked me, so do you keep, this here, I said, man, I be getting nailed. And the first thing that they always want to ask us, do we believe in the Trinity? Now, you know he shouldn't have went there, right? I said, now you know where the Trinity originated from, right? And so I thought, I nailed this male. He said, oh, because he was asking me, so, but you have to be able to give an answer. You have to be able to give an answer. That's why you come to the Shabbat, which is a rehearsal, so you can learn these things. I'm telling you, a lot of you don't know how to explain it. You got to know how to explain these things in the latter days. You really are. And you got to know for your own sake. Like John the Baptist in prison, he began to question, right? You better know this stuff before these times come. So let's look at what our teacher is. Who is our teacher? Is it Paul or Yeshua?
Yeshua.
Because a lot of people use Paul, right? Okay, but Paul at his own writing said, who's Paul? Who's Saul? Otherwise he's saying, I ain't the foundation, I ain't the savior. So let's see what Yeshua did. If nobody else does it, but our teachers do it, then should we do it? Go ahead.
Luke chapter 4, verse 14. And Yeshua returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee, and there went out a fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. Verse 16. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on a Sabbath day and stood up to read.
All right.
You see that? Jump down to verse 31.
Verse 31. And came down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee, and taught them on the Sabbath days.
You notice that on the Sabbath day. Why? Because he's a son. His father gave the Sabbath, and so as a son, he's honoring the Sabbath. Think about the fourth commandment. Honor the Shabbat. It's the same word for your mother. Honor your mother and your father. Can I say I'm honor my mother? Listen, I was thinking about you the other day. I said, now, suppose Jace honor Marcel, but Marcel ain't his father. But he's really honoring Marcel, but he's not honoring me. You see? But he is honoring a father, but he's not honoring this father because I'm his father. Now watch this here. Many people are honoring another day, Sunday, but they are honoring, ain't they? They really honoring, but is that the day? See, that's what you have to understand. Because there are sincere people honoring another day. But is that the day the same way as on the father? Oh yeah, he's honoring, but like that's not his father. Now, some people would say, well, Yeshua, when he died, then he changed the Sabbath. Okay, watch this here. The book of Acts. The reason the book of Acts is written, it want to show you how the church received that power and how the church spread. That's the first century church. Let's see what they did after the resurrection of Yeshua. Surely it got to be some answer in there. Because why? Surely Peter and them would have knew to do something different, right? Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what the early church did. Because we don't go to Rome to find out what they did. We go to the book of Acts. Let's go to Acts chapter 13. And we'll pick it up in verse 13 and 14 and 15. Go ahead.
Acts chapter 13, verse 13. Now when Paul and his company loosed from Paphos, they came to Perga in Pamphylia, and John, departing from them, returned to Jerusalem. And when they departed from Perga, they came to Antioch in Pisidia,
which is a Greek city. Go ahead.
And went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and sat down.
On the Sabbath. Notice this here. I'm going to watch how you're going to have so much evidence that nobody here can stand before the Supreme Court of the heaven, because that's the real Supreme Court, and say that I didn't have no evidence. Very important. Very important. Watch this here. So go, we stopped at verse 15.
Verse 15. And after the reading of the law and the prophets.
Notice what they're reading. Go ahead.
Reading the Torah and the prophets, the rulers of the synagogue sent unto them, saying, Ye men and brethren, if ye have any word of exhortation for the people, say on.
Now, Paul, all you followers of Paul out there, notice what day that Paul meeting on. He meeting on the Shabbat. And we're going to see it over and over and over. Paul understood nothing was done away with, right? So Paul met on the Shabbat. Okay. Now let's go to the same chapter and let's see. Now they wanted Paul to hang out with them. Watch this here. Verse 42. Chapter 13, verse 42.
Acts 13, 42. And when Yehuda were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them
On
the next-
Sunday.
No, the Sabbath.
No, it gotta say Sunday. These are Gentiles. Why didn't say Paul come meet us on Mithra Day? On Jupiter Day or any other day? They say on the Gentiles. Because why? That was Paul's mission, was to the Gentiles, right? So the Gentiles asked Paul, come, these words to be preached on the Shabbat. Go ahead.
43. Now when the congregation was broken up, many of the Jews and religious proselytes followed Paul and Barnabas, who speaking to them persuaded them to continue in the grace of Yah. And on the next Sabbath day,
On the next what?
Sabbath day, came almost the whole city.
Can you hear? All Tech City came. Oh, you hear me? The whole city. We're talking about the book of Acts. It's the only history. If you want to know where all those churches come from, Ephesians, Ephesus, you got to go read the book of Acts. You think they just popped out of nowhere. No, Paul traveled the world, known world then. He was the best, the awesome. So notice what Paul bringing them. He bringing them the Torah from the prophets. Because that's what he knew. That's what they needed. Now watch this here. Go to chapter 14, verse 1.
Acts chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass in Iconium, they went both together to the synagogue of Yehuda, and so spake, and that a great multitude, both of Jews and also the Greeks, believed.
Now notice that where he went to, what? He's going to the Greek world. In that part of the world, it was known as the Greek world or the Gentiles or the Greeks or the Yehuda. That's how the world was divided in those days. Like today is the East and the West, right? It's the same thing. The same thing. Now, watch this here. You can see all these churches that's in the book of Acts that you read is right here. Go ahead, Acts chapter 17. Let's pick it up in verse 1. A lot of scriptures. Because it's the foundation. We got to get to the foundation. The book of Acts is the foundation. It shows you what the early church did. Go ahead.
Acts chapter 17, verse 1. Now when they passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was the synagogue of the Yehuda. And Paul, as his manner was, went unto them in 3 Sabbath days.
How many Sabbaths?
3 Sabbath days.
Don't Paul know by now the Sabbath is done away with? No, it is 3 Shabbats. Go ahead.
Sabbath days, reason with them out of the scriptures, opening and alleging that Yeshua, the Christ, must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this Yeshua, whom I preach unto you, is the Messiah.
Go ahead.
4. And now of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Greeks a great multitude, and of the chief women not a few, but the Jews, Yehuda, which believed not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd followers of the baser sort, and gathered a company and set all of the city on an uproar.
Notice that. No, it's going to happen. We have a picture here. We have an image here. Now, let's go so far. Don't we see the early church meeting on the Shabbat? Okay? The early church, that's what they did. Why? Because they honoring the Shabbat. It's the 4th commandment. It's the doorway. If you look at the 4th commandment, okay, it's the Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. It's the door. Okay? Now, he's not asking us to stand at the door and say, oh, I love it. It's just so great. No. You walk through the door because the door, most houses have a door. Am I right? So when you're walking through the house, which is the Shabbat, there's benefits in it. But there's most people that they don't want to walk through their door. They create them another door. It's very important. You're going to see in this teaching here. Watch this here. Go to Acts chapter 15. Now, in Acts chapter 15, we have an issue here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Oh, my goodness. Help me. In Acts chapter 15, the whole issue here, I'm going to show you. In Acts chapter 15, what's going on, and then we will jump down. Now, watch this here. As the church began to grow, we have an issue here. Acts chapter 15, Marcel, start at verse 1.
Acts chapter 15, verse 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren, and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved.
Now notice this here. They're trying to assert circumcision with salvation. No. Now circumcision is a sign of the covenant, but it's not for salvation. Only the Mushiach for salvation. So they're stirring stuff up. Now watch this here. The church, the early church, didn't know what to do with this here. So watch this. The apostles, right? The apostles, they ran into a situation that they didn't know what to do with. And so guess what? If they run into a situation that they didn't know what to do with, then the same thing is going to happen to us. We'll learn it. Some things that is going to hit us, we're going to know what to do. Like, okay, what do we do? The answer is in the word. We just have to go search for it and not divide over it. Some people rather divide than they try to search for the answer. Huh?
Yes.
Over the name, over the feast, instead of let's see how to do this the right way. So I pray for us as a mature congregation that when we run into a situation like that, then let's sit down and reason together. Do we really want to find out the truth, or you just want to be right?
All right.
Huh? Think about that. Do we really want the truth, or you just want to be right? See, I told you I was right. Now watch this here, verse 2.
When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension in this disposition with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question.
Now notice, they had to, Mike, this was an issue. Notice where they went to. They went to Jerusalem and not Rome. See, now the church has been switched from Jerusalem to Rome. Why y'all? Listen, we're going to see where we get. The problem is that our information has been switched from Jerusalem to Rome, and that's where the problem is. And I'm going to show you. Very important. So now this issue is so dispersed, they're going up to deal with this thing. Now, watch this here. We're going to jump down. And so they say, okay, how are we going to solve this issue here? And so they go to Jerusalem, they talk about it, and notice what he says here in verse, we're just going to do verse 19 through 21, and you can read the rest on your own. But notice how these are new converts coming in, so now we're not going to throw everything on them right then. So, but we're going to tell them to do this right then, and then what else? Watch this here.
Acts 15:19. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to Yah.
Notice, from among the Gentiles, from the nation, they're turning to them. And so Paul said, listen, they said, don't put all those burdens on them. Don't wear this here, don't eat that, don't do that. No. They're just coming in. They don't need to know all that stuff right now. Let them come in, and how are they going to learn?
But that we write unto them that they absent from pollution of idols, and from fornication, and from these things strangled, and from blood. For Moses of old hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath.
So that's how they're going to learn. Come to every Shabbat, come to every feast every week. That's how you're going to learn. It's amazing how people come in here and they want me to give them the whole lesson. Man, it took me 10 years to get where I'm at, and I'm still learning. So no, don't worry about all the other stuff. You come week after week. First, listen, I know that you can put away fornication. I mean, just listen how I say, just get away from these things first. And anybody knows that what Paul is alluding to is Leviticus chapter 17 and 18. Go read it and you'll be blushing. That's what he's dealing with. Abstain from these things first. Things that are sacrificed to idols. Stop eating the blood. That's what he's dealing with. But notice how they're going to be learning. Marcel, how are they going to be learning if they stop this here? Verse 21 again.
For Moshe of old time hath in every city them that preach him, be read in the synagogues every Sabbath.
Now, was that true when you were born again? Did you have in your city everyone was teaching Moses? No, we didn't. They weren't teaching Moses. That's the problem. Moses is the foundation. And this is how they're going to learn. They come to the synagogue or the Shabbat every Shabbat. That's how you learn. And the Shabbat is a rehearsal. If you miss rehearsals, of course, you ain't going to know what's going on. Very important. Let's go to, Acts chapter 18. A lot of evidence, huh? I'm saying the book of Acts. Anybody, any scholar know that the book of Acts is the foundation for the ecclesia. Chapter 18, we'll start at verse 1, then we'll jump down to verse 4.
Acts chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth.
Verse 4.
And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded Yehuda and the Greeks.
Notice that. Every Shabbat. We don't see anybody saying, Paul, we'll see you on the first of the week. We'll see you. None of that. Because they knew that. If you want to be a part of the community. Why? Because they knew in Rome them met on the first day of the week. Because that was the god of Mithra. The sunrise service. Where y'all think we got sunrise service from? Incredible. Rome. You're going to see in this teaching here, everything that I practiced back in the day came from Rome and not Jerusalem. Let's go to chapter 19. Start at verse 1, then we jump down to verse 8.
Acts chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass that while Apollos was in Corinth, Paul, having passed through the upper coast, came to Ephesus, and finding certain disciples, verse 8, and he went into the synagogue and spake boldly for the space of 3 months, disputing and persuading the things concerning the kingdom of Yah.
Notice that. So, right, in chapter 19, they still keeping the Sabbath. Because that's what the early church did. They kept the Shabbat. Watch this here. Then he says in verse 10.
And this continued by the space of 2 years, so that all that which dwelt in Asia heard the word of Yeshua, both Yehuda and Greeks.
Now, was that enough evidence? Okay, let's see where we have the problem at. Let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 7. Okay, Daniel, the book chapter 7. Because we have to solve this issue. Amen. We have to expose the enemy. But the Most High did not leave us ignorant. We read the text to say our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. But if you keep reading, say because they have rejected knowledge, I also will reject them from being a priest. Daniel chapter 7. Okay? We're going to do some reading because we have to know our history. It's right here to warn us, to teach us. There's a system coming to deceive. We'll pick it up, start at verse 1, and let's go to work. This is what it's about.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Now, understand this here, because you can't understand the book of Revelation without understanding the book of Ezekiel and Daniel. So when people say, I don't understand the book of Revelation, you just told me that you didn't read the book of Ezekiel and the book of Daniel. A lot of work, but you got to know this because he's going to explain to you who the 4 beasts is. And all world power know who the four beast is. Very important. Go ahead.
Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wing. And I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said this unto it, Arise, devour much flesh, After these I beheld, lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, beheld the 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a man speaking great things, or a mouth speaking great things.
Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Hold on for a second. Now, okay, because for the sake of time, okay. Now, he just gave us 4 beasts, right? Now, I know I got some scholars in the house. So we know that the first beast was who? Talk to me. He was like a lion, right? Now, I ain't gonna show you today, but we know it's Babylon, right? And then the second beast was who? It was like a bear. Remember? The second. So who defeated Babylon? The Medes and the Persians. That's all you gotta do. He showed us history out to the very end. So we need the Medes and the Persians came in. And then we have a leopard that was quick. The dude can fly. He's flying. Alexander the Great conquered. Whoop. Conquered. And then another, a dreadful beast. Rome. Okay, now watch this here. So now we have who the beast is. Daniel is giving prophecy of the beginning and the end. That's what he's giving. Exactly what he's giving. He's showing the same way that the Hasatan brought Yahshua up to a mountain and showed him all the kingdom at a moment. And said, if you bow down and worship me, I give you all this. This is what Daniel was troubled about this vision. Now, but notice what's going to happen to all these kingdoms. Because there's a kingdom that's coming that's more powerful than any of these kingdoms. But Yah has shown us a history who's going to be ruling in the last days. Read these other verses here. Verses 9. Start at verse 9.
Come on. Hallelujah.
Now, what's here? Now, these kingdoms is awesome, but there's a kingdom coming that can't be touched. Go ahead.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
Come on.
Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool. The throne were like fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him.
Number that you can't number. Go ahead.
The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
He's going to be destroyed. Go ahead.
As concerning the rest of the beast, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. And I saw in night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory in the kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, in his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
That has not happened yet, right? Okay, so Daniel is seeing a vision of world power from the beginning of Babylon to the end. Now watch what Daniel's going to say here, though. I'm going to let the text speak for itself. Go ahead, verse 15.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. And I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and he made me know the interpretation of these things. These great beasts are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High will take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even ever and ever.
Do you hear that? So he's showing us that might, no matter what we're going through, we're going to win. That's what he's saying. It's going to happen. He's showing us the trial and tribulation of all these kingdoms, but he's saying, but the saints are going to possess it. But watch what Daniel say here. This is what Daniel said. Daniel said, okay, I see this here, but I got a question though. Go ahead.
Verse 19. But then I would know the truth of the fourth beast.
Hold up. Notice, Daniel, you don't want to know about the first one, the second, or the third, but he said, man, I want to know about the fourth one. And we have this, saw that the fourth one is wrong. Am I right? All scholars agree. So Daniel said, I want to know about this one. Because this one here is something else right here. Notice why he didn't ask about Babylon, because it's going to be destroyed. No Greece. No the Medes of the Persians. But Daniel say, I want to know about the fourth one. And you and I should have wanted to know about the fourth one, because this is the one that's going to do damage. This is the one that's going to affect us. This is the one that's going to affect us. Go ahead.
Then I would know the
That's
truth
right.
of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and whose nail of brass, which devoured, break into pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other, which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and the mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I behold, and the same horn made war with the saints.
He did what?
Made war with the saints.
Notice, if we say that Rome is the fourth beast, then of course he's going to make war with the saints. Those that set apart, not that those that's in the system. Those that keep the commandments of Yeshua. Right? And have the word. That's who he's going to make war with. You don't make war with those that's already in the system. Go ahead. Verse 22.
Okay. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it into pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the binding of time.
Now notice this again, because I want you to pay attention to this. If this is wrong, okay, and all scholars agree, this is wrong. Pay attention what he's saying, because we're going to go somewhere. Very important. You're going to find out today if you're in the system or not. Very important. Rome will be revived. It will be revived because it is the beast system. Read that verse again. And I want you to read it with your eyes and your mind.
Verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and to think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Okay. Awesome. Now, watch this here. Think. He can't change time. But what calendar are we on? What is called?
Goetian.
That's right. See how they have substitute the calendar? Where that come from? Julius Caesar. Am I right? That's wrong. Now think. He thinks to change time. The word and laws. The word law being used here is da'at, which is the unchangeable law of the Most High. So, watch this here.
Okay, Sabbath. Come on.
Oh yeah, we definitely going now. If you think that Rome don't have power, then I'm gonna show you what they say about the saints of the Most High. Notice that he said that I want to wear them out. So you start fighting toward, you start coming back, and then your family and friends want to wear you out. That you just stop. He said he want to wear out the saints of the Most High. So we all conclude that Rome is the beast, right? Okay, now watch this here. This coming from, I wish my wife was still here, catechism. Anybody ever did the catechism? Okay, now this is what they teach. The Roman Catholic Church, I can't say everything here, but this is what they teach. They're in power. They was in power when Yeshua was around, when the apostle was around. They couldn't just come right out and tell you. So they use symbols. like the lion or the bear, use symbols. And everybody in the first century knew exactly what they were talking about. Watch this here. This coming from their catechism. The Roman Catholic Church, teach the early church met on Sunday. Is that true?
No.
No.
We just saw the evidence in book Acts. They did. They say the early church met on Sunday. Is that true?
No.
No, we got too much evidence. This is the Roman Catholic Church who control all religion. And they're going to be used to bring all religion together.
Sunday night.
And guess who? Guess who? You and I that don't come under gonna be persecuted.
Right.
Just like the Maccabees.
I'm trying to tell you all these things. That's why you better be here when I'm teaching on the Maccabees, because one of the things that Antiochus say, listen, let everybody move from their law, embrace that. He's Greek, right? And he say, and he forbid them to keep the Shabbat, circumcision, and the feast. The king sent out a decree. You think that the Pope? No. They started way back then. Watch this here, because I'm going to say that. Now, he said the Roman Catholic Church teaches that the early church met on Sunday. We call them in a lie. Real easy. According to his, now, listen here, according to his own authority and not on the basis of any scripture mandate. This is what they say in catechism. Now, watch this here. One of the popes said that there is no scripture basis for the first day service. There's no scripture. Now, Ms. Bernice, I'm gonna read this here, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. About the Shabbat, they say here, question. They'll put a question out there, but they'll answer it for you. It says, have you any way of proving? Now, I want you to hear this here. Do you have any way of proving that the Roman Church has power to institute or change the feast? That's the question. Now, what did they say? They don't mind boasting. Because why? Remember, we saw right there in the book. He said that he had a mouth and he boasts, right? Huh? I'm like God. I'm like the Most High. They boasted.
God's
So the question said, yeah, God on earth. Roman Catholic Church means just a universal church. Okay? So the question, do y'all have any basic scripture for changing the Sabbath? Any, right? In other words, any power. Who gave y'all the power? Now here's their answer. He said, had she not such power, she could not have institute one which all modern religion agree with. Other words, saying, look what everybody doing. We got them doing Sunday. We got them doing Christmas. Y'all gonna tell us we ain't got no power? So if you're doing that, what system are you under? The beast.
Easter.
The beast system.
Easter.
Watch this. I'm gonna read it again. Had she not such power, she could not have instituted one in which all modern religion agree with. She could not have substitute the observance of Sunday, the first day of the week, for the observance of the Shabbat, the seventh day of the week. A change for which there's no scripture for it. They said out their own mouth, yeah, we changed it. What you gonna do about it? They're boasting about it. They're boasting about what they're doing. Another on the Roman side again, the catechism. They say we changed the Sabbath. I can let you see it for yourself. Other Roman sources can be cited on to show that according to the Catholic Church, there is no scripture basis for the electing of the Shabbat. Think to change time and seasons. Now ask yourself, we observe Passover, am I right? Now watch this. Do Passover always land on Sunday? Then why is Easter always on Sunday? Because they fixed the calendar. See, they boast in their power. Why Sunday? Mitzvah. Y'all don't know? And it got y'all all under spell. We all under spell.
They can't explain how 3 days and 3 nights.
No.
Friday.
And then
they don't care.
Good Friday. And then they say, man, They behind the same head. They don't even know how to count. Man, we got them so bamboozled. We got, listen, y'all ought to be upset on that. Like, how did we ever? It's called hypnotism. I tell you, huh?
And
You thought that you wanted to eat that, but I sold you to a commercial. I put the music in there. I got you in there. Now, you know you just finished eating. Honey, go give me some ice cream. All based on a commercial. All based on a commercial. And the more immature you are, you controlled by it. Case in point, I'm like, why Elijah keep talking about coming out the bedroom talking about, can you buy me this toy? Can you buy me every 5 minutes? I'm like, what's he doing there? I say, oh, turn up that Nickelodeon. Turn up that. Because that's all they do, don't they? Oh my goodness. Now, watch this here. Catechism, we changed the Sabbath. Other Roman sources can be cited to show that according to the Catholic Church, there's no basic scriptures based for neglecting the Shabbat observance. Nowhere, notice it, they say this here, nowhere in the Bible do we find that Yeshua or the apostles ordered that the Shabbat be changed. They saying this here. It's like saying, well, he did it, but I didn't tell him to do it. I just told him that the cake looked good, Mama. I didn't tell him to go eat it. But you gave a subliminal message, didn't you? Think about that subliminal message. I didn't tell you to keep Christmas, but when you go to that season, start singing those songs. Before you know it, you driving home, you got Jingle Bell in your mind. Like, what I'm doing? Because you was in that atmosphere. You see, it's a system, it's a spirit. Watch how Halloween comes. And we know it's the day of we know it's the day of the dead, and somehow we put a bumper sticker on it and just say we're doing it in the name of God. How do we program ourselves to believe lies like that? Watch this here. So the apostle didn't do it. We changed the Sabbath from Sunday. We have the command of Elohim given to Moses to keep the holy Sabbath. Am I right? Mm-hmm. That is the 7th day of the week, the Shabbat. Today, most Christians keep Sunday. Why is that? Because it has been revealed to us by the Roman Catholic Church. They boast. It's not they boasting. Did not we see in the book of Daniel that they were boasting? They boasting. Back in the day when people boasting like that, we tell them, come on then. You want something to sit down? Now we just sit down. Mm-hmm. So let's see, well, I'm going to show you a verse that they use to pick people on changing the Shabbat. Let's go to Matthew chapter 28. Matthew chapter 28. Verse 1. I mean, watch this here. You got to see this here. Remember, the book, the Bible, the Holy Scripture is a Hebrew book. It's not an English book. So you and I, everybody that's listening in the house, you're at the mercy of the translators. So I can fix the text to say what I wanted to say. Now, you know, that's illegal in the car business. That's what
He loves you, Mike.
Verse 1.
Matthew chapter 28, verse 1. In the end of the Sabbath, on the Sabbath, it began to dawn toward the first day of the week. Came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the tomb.
Okay, now watch how the translator, I don't know why they do that, but yeah, I know why they do it. Notice what he says here. At the end of the Shabbat, right? Okay, as it begins to dawn towards the first day. Now you know that day is added, right? It's italicized. But why they didn't translate the same word for week is the same word for Shabbat? It's the exact same word. Strong number for you scholars in here to check me out is 4521. It's the Sabbaton, which comes from the Hebrew word Shabbat. So as it began to dawn toward the Shabbat, they came early in the morning and began to dawn. Not early first day. of the week. They did, okay? So, but they made it to certain to fix it in there. Do you understand? So that's the verse that they used that she came. But these guys been to Bible college. They gotta look up words. But they don't. Why? Because they're in the system. Why? Because their mama already told them what to do. So you just keep imitating what your mama said. That's the only reason. If you don't believe me, let the Pope get up today and say, you know what? We're going to go back to the biblical Sabbath. And all of them going to do it. Now, there's going to be some rebellion in the camp, but they're going to go back because the Pope said it. But not that y'all said it. See what I'm talking about? So now he's boasting. He thinks he has power. He thinks he's God. Now watch this here. Another one. Mark chapter 16, verse 2. Now, watch how this text read though. Don't add nothing. Don't take away nothing. Read it just like King James got it.
Mark chapter 16, verse 2. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the tomb at the rising of the sun.
Now, put it back in Hebrew and read it like you know it.
And very early in the morning, the first Shabbat, they came unto the tomb.
That's how the text should read. The first Shabbat. Why the first Shabbat? Because at the Passover, we're told Passover, unleavened bread, first fruit, and the Feast of Pentecost. We're told to count how many Shabbat leading up to the Feast of Pentecost?
7.
7 Shabbat. So this was the first one. See, they tell us that. But they told them, we just didn't know. So they're counting. And by the time we get to Acts chapter 1, it said that Yeshua appeared to them and he talked to them for 40 days about the kingdom. So that's 40 days. So how many days we got to the Feast of Pentecost?
10.
10 more days. See, it's right there. Nobody ever told us that. Why? Because we get our information from Rome.
Mm-hmm.
If we was getting it from where we're getting it now, we can see it clear. Now watch this here. Go to verse 9. Same book. Read it just like it is, and then put it back in Hebrew.
Mark 16:9. And when Jesus was risen early in the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils.
Okay, now let's put it back in Hebrew.
Now, when Yeshua was risen early the first Shabbat, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils.
Do y'all see that? If somebody invite y'all and y'all start hearing them saying that early Sunday morning. Oh my goodness. He's lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say he just don't know. Another one. Let's go to Luke. Luke chapter 24. Now all those there. So if you leave here standing with Rome, because you're in the bed with Rome. And so when the Most High judged Rome, guess who else going to be judged? The same way when he judged Sodom and Gomorrah. The angel had to drag Lot out of it. Verse 1. Same way, and read it back again.
Luke 24:1. Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. Luke 24:1. Now upon the first Shabbat, very early in the morning, they came unto the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain with them.
Okay. Now, so far, we know that the word day is added. Am I right, guys? So I think I done made a point here in the courtroom. Because I let y'all be the jury. You decide. All I do is present the evidence. You decide. So I gave you what? Luke 24, verse 1. Just write these down here. John chapter 20, verse 1. I'm just dealing with this first day of the week. So how we saw that they lied, that it's the first Shabbat and not the first day of the week. Okay. But in English, it looks like that, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I gave you John chapter 20, verse 1, and then John chapter 20, verse 19. Okay. Now, let me show you again how those who are unskilled, unlearned in the word might try to use something against you. But we have saw that the word day was added into all those, right? And we saw that the Greek word Sabbaton come from the Hebrew word Shabbat, 76 in the Hebrew, and Greek is 45:21. Know that. Okay, let's go to Acts. Acts chapter 20. Just in case that somebody might have a little scholarship in them. But they might go to the book of Acts and say, see, they met on this day. But we already know the Greek word is Sabbaton. Watch this here. Verse 7.
And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight.
Now notice that if a new convert read that, what day would he automatically think? Sunday. So notice how the translators keep adding the mitra, worship in there. So whoever in charge of the pen, that's what they can do. You see? Think about that. Very important. So we know that this word first day or day was added, so it should be the first Shabbat. Am I right? So they are meeting on the Shabbat. Let's go to another one. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 16. Now, this is what they're going to say. Now, they'll use this here. See, Paul told us to take it up on Sunday. What's the text says? 1 and 2. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 1 and 2.
1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 1. Now concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given order to the church of Galatia, even so do ye. Upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by him in store, as God hath prospered him, that they be no gatherings when I come.
Okay, now put it back in Hebrew, verse 2.
Upon the first Shabbat, let every one of you lay by him in store, as Yah hath prospered him.
That's what he's saying. Very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, jury, how would you side? I mean, everybody else standing up in the courtroom, everybody else being scrutinized. So, based on the sun worship and the Shabbat, is there any biblical change for the biblical Shabbat? It's not. Have I proven my case that who changed Sunday?
Yeah.
Which is the beast?
Yes.
And so we're all under that system, or used to be under that system. So we saw that the beast was slain. So those that inside with the beast will be slain too. It's a system. As long as you stay in the system, that you will be controlled by the system sooner or later. But he already, listen, I don't care who they are. Look at all these guys. Watch me. I'm telling you. They're going to be coming, bow down to the Roman Catholic Church, the beast system. They're in it. It's just watch, mark my word. Because why? Y'all going to make sure this stuff coming out. Well, you're going to have to draw a line. You're going to have to make a decision. See, right now, you ponder. But it's going to come a time that you're going to have to make a decision. A crucial decision. So shouldn't it be better to make the decision now? Watch this here. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 58. Let's read verses 13 and 14. That's a blessing. There is a blessing in this here.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13. Okay.
Isaiah chapter 58, starting at verse 13. And if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, and from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Jehovah, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in Jehovah, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, from the mouth of Jehovah has spoken.
That's what he said. If I turn away from doing my own thing, if I turn away from the mall, we all used to shop, right? If I turn away from the things that I used to do, He's not saying that you can't do something on the Shabbat, but I'm saying if you set apart, because I had a guy like, I like, hold up, man. You said that you understand that the Shabbat is the holy day of the week. So, but when you come here, you dress down. But then when you go to your church on the first day of the week, you dress with the suit on, suit and tie. So my observation says, with your lips, you say that the Shabbat is to honor it, but your action shows different. So I don't care if you sit down and teach the people that the Shabbat is that day, the people look at how you dress. Because listen, people ain't stupid. You saying one thing, and then, because I see it with my own eyes. And so we had a Bible study on the Shabbat, trying to help them. Ring, ring, ring. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, what? Who answered the phone at the Shabbat service? Now, was he honoring the Shabbat? That's dishonor. I mean, even our wife, I'm sure, guys, we as marriage couple that we are guilty of doing that. A nice conversation going on, and the phone ring. You better not touch that phone. But I'm sure that we have done that. But you know that that doesn't feel good, right? Well, how would the Father feel? If you're going to honor it, how do you honor it? Listen, there's no divine instruction what to do on the Shabbat. It's saying you can honor your wife the way you want to. If you want to take her out every evening of the eve of the Shabbat, do it. You can honor it. So just like you do things to honor your wife, you say you can honor the Shabbat. Make this day so special. You cut off all sources. Because why? When I was in Israel, they called the Shabbat, they called it the queen. Think about that. We can honor the Shabbat with our own custom and own tradition. Remember, your own. Don't make it Torah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to light candles, you can do that. But don't say that it's Torah. You can find ways to honor it. And so when we come here today, man, I don't have nothing. This is, my wife said, how you gonna get home? Man, I'm sleeping. No problem, this is Shabbat. I'm not thinking about that. So we can find ways to honor the Shabbat. He says, cease from doing your own thing, right? And I know that some of y'all, this y'all first time coming in, so now you have to learn to adjust your life to honor the Shabbat. You do that. Why? Because it's a rehearsal. It is a rehearsal. Very important. Let's go to a verse that they maybe gonna try to use against you. Colossians chapter 2, verse 16. But what they fail to don't understand that all these things that we are doing, the Moedim and the Shabbat is a picture of Yahshua. So I rest in the Shabbat to remind me that I cease from doing my own thing, right? So when I meet Yeshua, I cease from earning salvation. I rest in him.
Hallelujah.
So notice, those that might be a little scholar, probably trying to use this verse on you. Colossians chapter 2, verse 16 and 17. Excuse me.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 16. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or respect of a holy day or the new moon or the Sabbath, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is the Moshiach.
Notice that. He's telling you. So these feasts, these Shabbat, is a shadow of the Moshiach. And so we come here and we rest, we'll be refreshed, revived. Now I got 21, I ain't gonna give them, but to teach you about what the Shabbat is really about. I'm just gonna give you some of them. You don't have to write them down if you don't want to, but I'm just gonna name some of them because these are some of the themes of the Shabbat. I'm gonna give you some of the themes, okay? First, we already did this one here, that the Shabbat is a feast of Jehovah. Did now we see that? Okay. Second, that the Shabbat teaches us about our rest and Yeshua. Number 3, that there is a promise blessing for celebrating the Shabbat. We saw that, right? Number 4, that none Yehuda, whether you're part of the community or not, whether you're part of Israel or not, natural born, homeborn, everybody obey the Shabbat. It's not a Jewish thing, it's a kingdom thing. And we got scripture to prove that too. One Torah, right? One Torah for the homeborn and the stranger. Another one, that the Shabbat is a day of rest and no work should be done. Cease. We have an example of that in Exodus chapter 16, when he said, listen, get the manna, 6 days, but on the 7th day, don't get them. I'm going to bless you on that day. But you don't understand, Pastor, that's when money really be made on that day. I made up my mind when I first had my business. I said, no Shabbat. I'm not doing no detail on Shabbat. So I opened my business like that. You see? And so when you're coming in, because my brother Roy is a perfect example. Many people, the extra change they make on the Shabbat, he wasn't really making, be honest with you, he was losing. But because he has a heart for his employees, and it took him maybe 3 to 4 years, am I right, Roy? To adjust it, to make sure that everything was right and blah, blah, whatever. And so some of you might not make this change that fast. But his change was very difficult, but he made it. Okay, he made it. And so you have to understand that this Shabbat is very important. If it wasn't very important, then the enemy would not have went to such a change to make this change. Mm-hmm. Okay, now watch this here. So, and I said number 5 was that the Shabbat is a day of rest and no work should be done on it. However, you are permitted to do good on the Shabbat. Very important. So that's all I'm going to give you for right now. I'm going to show you something here. Now, probably read that. No, that's too long right there. Let's see this one. Okay. Isaiah then. Dave, go ahead. Isaiah chapter 56. Hey, let her know that Pastor Jay, if she needs to, stay in now, we got a camera in now. So, give her a chair, let her sit down there so that she can be comfortable. Because I know if my nose was running, I don't like to do that stuff in front of people, stuff like that. Yeah. No, Pastor Jay, she's in the kitchen. No. Oh, okay. Amen. Go ahead, verse 1.
Thus says Jehovah, Isaiah 56:1. Thus saith Jehovah, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that do this, and the son of man that lay hold of it, and keep the Sabbath from polluting it.
And do what? Now notice what these words say. Go ahead.
That keep the Sabbath from polluting it, and keep his hand from doing any evil. Neither let the son of the stranger that have joined himself to Jehovah speak, saying, Jehovah have utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. For thus says Jehovah unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbaths, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house, and within my walls a place and a name better than the sons and the daughters, and I will give them an everlasting name that shall be not cut off. And also the sons of the strangers that join themselves to Jehovah to serve him, to love the name of Jehovah, to be his servants, everyone that keeps the Sabbath from polluting it, and take hold of my covenant, even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people.
You see that? For all people. This is the blessing for all of those. It doesn't matter if you're a stranger of the natural born of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the sojourner that became part of the community. That's why Paul said you are no more strangers, but you're part of the commonwealth of Israel. So there's a blessing locked in that whoever decides to put away doing his own thing on the Shabbat. This is the lesson that he's trying to teach us here. Now, let's look at another one that says that is it good? Can we do good on the Shabbat? Yes, we can. Watch this here. Go to Mark chapter 3. You come into the Shabbat service and you see a family scrambling on the side of the wall, the road, you just don't pass them by. It's good. You're like, man, I'm going to get dirty. It's a Shabbat. That's going to be work. It is good to do good on the Shabbat. Mm-hmm. Watch this here. Let's see what the Mushiach did. Go ahead and Mark chapter 3, verse 1.
Mark chapter 3, verse 1. And he entered again into the synagogue, and there was a man that which had a withered hand. And they watched him whether he would heal him on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him. And he said unto the man which had the withered hand, stand forth. And he said unto him, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days, or to do evil, to save life, or to kill? But they held their peace. And when he had looked around about on them with anger, being grieved from the hardness of their hearts, he said unto the man, stretch forth thy hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored whole as the other. And the Pharisees went forth and straightway took counsel with the Herodians against him, how they might destroy him.
Notice that he did good. That's the question. This man, that's why you heard him say, which of you having 100 sheep, you know what I'm saying, and one fall or sheep, one goes in the hole, will you not lift him up on the Sabbath? Will not you get him out? That's an animal. This is a human. It's created in the image of the Most High. But that's how religion does. So you and I trying to honor the Shabbat. There's no restriction how to do it, but just to cease from doing your own thing. Then some family member who don't have no knowledge of nothing, probably go in and try to find something about the Shabbat. They say, well, you shouldn't even leave your house. They say that you shouldn't even turn on the lights. Because they went to the computer and found some orthodox stuff. Mm-hmm. It said that you shouldn't even drive a half a mile. That's why there's a lot of stuff on that. There's no, when we first came in this here, we didn't even get out of bed. We didn't even leave our house. Because why? We had no teaching. I didn't know what that stuff meant. So I wouldn't even do nothing. And so that's how many people come in. We are learning these things here. We're learning what does it mean to cease. He's telling you the scripture. Cease from doing your own thing. I had some guys that worked at BP, right? So now your company, listen to this here. Are we not in the Babylonian system? Yes. This is the Babylonian system, right? So now Yeshua understand that you run into Caesar what is Caesar. Now, I had some guys that would work for BP. So you know that they work on the Shabbat. Am I right? So you got to run into Caesar with Caesar. You came into this thing. That's what you got. So, but you know, there are times that when you don't have to work on the Shabbat, but the money is so good on the Shabbat. So now they come to you and say, hey, can you work for us this, now you have a choice. The other times you didn't have a choice. Now what you're going to do, that's like about $2,300 that day. You see, your company required you to honor your employee, and you ought to work on the Shabbat. Now you can come to them and let them know how much it means to you, blah, blah, blah. And they might be courteous enough to say, you know what, I see how serious you're about it. You say, I'm gonna let you off every other. You see, if you're sincere. And so that's how they work. So if you're working on the Shabbat, and that's all you can do like Mike do, that's what you got. But when you don't have to, then take advantage of that. Very important. So there's no condemnation as we walk this thing out, because I done seen it in this stuff here that when people I'm gonna tell you a miracle right there. If they still doing it, my Dusty, tell them what you told me, Dusty. Dusty, he myself, microphone, please. Dusty pick up stuff. Go? Yeah. Okay. Now, and the only day of the week that the place would be open was what? Yeah. Tell me that story. Tell them the story, Dusty.
Well, before I came here, I was picking up stuff Monday through Saturday, and I was selling on Saturday. And they closed at 12 o'clock, and they never opened on Sunday at all. But when I came to the Shabbat and I joined here, by maybe 3 weeks later, they started opening on Sunday. First time ever in history for a junkyard to open. So now I can make money on Sunday.
It's incredible.
And don't work on Saturday.
That was y'all showing just little things like that. And there's something, huh? He was so excited to tell me that little things like that. If you cease from doing your own thing, because he wanted to. Incredible. Incredible. This is awesome. I want to show you a few more verses. Let's go to the book of Shemot. It is the book of Exodus. We'll pick it up, Brother Marcel, in verse 12. I'm sorry, chapter 31, verse 12.
Shemot chapter 31, verse 12. That's Exodus chapter 31, verse 12. And Jehovah spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath shall ye keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Jehovah that do sanctify you. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiles it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Jehovah. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall be surely put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Jehovah made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moshe, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone written with the finger of Yahweh.
Once I sign on the dotted line, I don't care if I drive down the street and say I don't want that car, I just sign for them. So yeah, he signed it. I don't care what they do in the Vatican. I don't care if everybody in the world get together. The Most High signed it. Mm-hmm. It's sealed. What that sound, sign, and deliver, whatever that old school. But you notice it's a sign. Notice here, it's a sign between the children of Israel, not the world. Mm-hmm. It's not. So don't make the world keep the Shabbat. It's not a sign for them. It's for the sign for the children of Israel. Hallelujah. For the strangers and the sojourner. That's part of the covenant of the Most High. It's a sign. So people see you coming and keeping the feast. All those are signs. All those are signs. This is the word for Shabbat. Okay, right here from the right, a shin bet tav. Okay, I put it in ancient Paleo Hebrew. A shin means to press. It's the teeth that devour. It can mean to devour or press, but it's just press, right? This is the word bet, which is a house, and then tav, which is a sign. But in the middle of the word is the house. I'm saying Aleph bet, the house. So we can look at the word Shabbat. We actually say that we're returning back to the house, which is the sign of the covenant. See what the Shabbat is? It's for the people. And then press. This is like children. So we're pressing, right? We're pressing back to the house. We're pressing. It's not easy for everybody. We're pressing back to the house of the sign of the covenant. That's what it's all about. Very important. Very important. One more, and we're going to shut it down. And I think that we have enough information here. Y'all have enough to just destroy Rome. Ezekiel. Now, let us not be like our fathers, though we're in exile. There's no excuse. He's opened up the books. And this what we're going to do. We're reading the book of Ezekiel, was dealing with those that in Babylon. And so let's see, can this book speak to us while we're in Babylon and then challenge us to move forward and not do what they did while they was in Babylon or before they went to Babylon. But he's going to testify this what got them in trouble. Ezekiel chapter 20, we'll pick it up at verse 7.
Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 7. Then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes.
Notice that. He's telling us, cast away abomination. Search your own heart. Search your own life. What is abomination? That which is disgusting to him, not what we think about it. Go ahead.
And defile not yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am Jehovah thy power. But they rebelled against me and have not hearkened unto me. They did not every man cast away the abomination of their eyes, neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them, to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt. But I wrought my name for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen, among whom they were, in whose sight I made myself known unto them, and bring them forth out of the land of Egypt. Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt, and brought them in the wilderness. And I gave them my statutes and showed them my judgment, which if a man do, he shall even live in them.
Watch this here.
Moreover, verse 12, moreover, as I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign.
And listen, anytime you see the word Sabbath, he's talking about the feast and the Shabbat. Okay, all the feast and the Sabbath or the Shabbat.
Give them Moedim and Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am Jehovah that sanctified them.
But what did they do?
But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes, and they despised my judgment, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. But my Sabbaths they greatly polluted. Then said I will pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them. But I wrought for my name's sake, I did not for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen, in whose sight I brought them out. Yet also I lift up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I have given them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. Because they despised my judgment and walked not in my statutes, but polluted my Sabbaths, for their heart went after their idols. Nevertheless, my eyes spared them from destroying them, neither did I make an end of them in the wilderness. But I said unto the children in the wilderness, walk ye not in the statute of your fathers, neither observe their judgments, nor defile yourself with their idols. I am Jehovah thy power, walk in my statutes, and keep my judgments, and do them, and hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that you may know that I am Jehovah thy power. Notwithstanding the children rebelled against me, they walked not in my statutes, neither kept my judgment to do them, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. They polluted my Sabbaths. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the wilderness. Nevertheless, I withdrew my hand and wrought not for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted in the sight of the heathen, in whose sight I brought them forth. 23. I lifted up my hand unto them also in the wilderness, that I would scatter them among the heathen and disperse them through the countries, because they have not executed my judgment, but have despised my statutes and have polluted my Sabbaths, and their eyes were after their father's idols.
That's good. You see that? How can we escape if we have a testimony that's showing why they was exiled, why they was punished, and we enter into the same covenant with the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob? How can we escape? It doesn't matter. We can't hide. We see that Rome is the beast. And we can walk out here and say, you know what, that might have been for them, that might have been that, but that don't mean that we really have to do it. If you leave here today and you think that as a jury that, yeah, I heard all the evidence, but I don't believe it. Think about that. You be the jury. Because you have to stand before the Most High. But he's gathering his people back. All the evidence is Israel, and those who watch it, you see how we got to where we at. But in his grace and his mercy, he's opened our eyes to show us. We saw it, there's a blessing in the Shabbat. And so we're going to honor Shabbat. This house, as Job said, me and my house, we will honor the Shabbat.
Hallelujah.
So I pray that the Ruach will help each of us in our journey as we describe, as we begin to walk in his stature and not the system of Babylon, because it is a system. It is a system. So grace be to you in the mighty name of Yeshua. Grace be to you. Any question? I already know ain't no question after that, but I just want to give it, just open the floor. Because this is what we have to deal with. If I can tack the sign of the covenant and get you to compromise with that, and then you begin to compromise all of it. The Shabbat is a sign between you and the Most High, Israel. Your wife has a question. And I know I'm going to get a scholar question right here.
Oh, no, it's not. So do you want me not to? No, let's go.
Oh, yeah, well, your husband can interpret for you then.
I know we've had this question before, but I'm still not sure how to respond because I talked to a lot of my Christian friends who still do Sunday. And now that we're running a new co-op, I've got lots of questions while I cover my head, so I think it's good for conversation. But what do I say? Like, how do I respond in love when they say, well, I worship, like T.D. Jakes and everybody else says, to worship God every day. So it's not wrong for me to worship God on Sunday if I'm worshiping him every day. You see?
Right.
I don't know how to respond to that without sounding judgmental, even if I were to use scripture. How do I respond to that in love?
Well, if someone
get them to hear me.
Right. If you have to have wisdom dealing with people, because if a person don't want to do something, it doesn't matter how much PowerPoint I give, they don't want to do it. We have example well, either oath. Can you explain to me why you don't keep the Shabbat versus the first day of the week? Because there's more evidence for the Shabbat. But if a person does not read, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a work of the Holy Spirit. I'm not trying to bring in anybody that's not even studying. Don't even worry about it. Because it's not. Because they can go on the internet and verify any of this stuff here. If they're not willing to study, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's between them and Yah. But we saw the evidence in the book was just clearly there. That's all. And that's how I deal with it.
Well, I was thinking,
The microphone right there.
I was thinking, I too worship God every day. Before I do anything, I give him the glory, honor, and praise, and that's worship. That's every day, 7 days a week. But the covenant is the one special day, Sabbath, that y'all set aside. So that is the holy days. All days are good, all days are perfect, all days are wonderful. But it's that one day that he set aside. That's the covenant day. That's the day that was written down in the contract, using the Roman days. Sunday through Friday is not the contract days. Although it's good for us to worship him, and we do. But it's Saturday, the Sabbath day, the very, very first is the one that is according to the contract.
Just that simple. You know, when you ask this here, like, okay, let's just use you, okay? So it's obvious that the person don't understand what a covenant is. So they would have to go and research for themselves, okay? So because you're gonna always get people that want to jump through the line, want to jump through. Believe me, TDJ no, don't let him fool you. He don't. They know, okay? So I don't play games with them. But if a person is sincere, because I don't know the conversation you're dealing with, but I can tell if a person is sincere. I got enough scriptures that I can verify this stuff. So, but if a person is sincere and they want to sit down and go through the book, not just talking about what I think, then you show them in the book. If they want to do that, then we'll do that. But if they don't even worry about it. I saw a hand, Mike. Okay.
Well, even getting to that point, the fact still is what they're saying as far as they serve God daily. God does tell us, to deny thyself, take up thy cross daily to follow him, and about the kingdom, to seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and all things will be added. We get that. The fact that we're saying that they still have yet not come to the understanding of the covenant, we have to also remember what Paul also tells us. He said, your job, so as not to get yourself into such a condemnation or what have you. God, he says, yours is either to plant or to water. But God is the one that adds the increase. God is the one that adds the understanding. So therefore, we should not feel condemned or feel we haven't done our job. God has called you to whatever purpose it be it to water or to plant. Let God do what God's going to do. You have to step aside and say, I did what you called me to do, Lord, and move on.
Absolutely, because a lot of people, you discovered this here because you were seeking. So Peter said, be ready to give an answer to those that ask. And your friends, we all know our friends. If they asking with malice in their heart. You already know that she don't mean the way she asking, that she just trying to mock you. We know that, okay? So you have to discern your own friends. And if they don't want to come, they don't. Okay, that's why I don't have no issues. Because I discern, as the scripture said, he who wins souls must be wise. And that's just it. Okay. Your comment is good. Yeah, it's worth something.
Well, it was just the example of, just being married, If I don't hug or kiss my wife every day, there's gonna be an issue. That anniversary is special. The anniversary is the day that's set apart. So it's just about how close do you want to be? How much love do you want in your marriage? You can skip days if you want to, but that's just the perspective we have to put on people when it comes to, you can serve God the way you want to, but how close do you want to be to the Father? Just that personal accountability.
It's good. And then that's again, guys, when a person don't have the right information, it's like the computer, back to the computer. They just don't have enough information. So you see why you do it and they don't, because remember, we was all there. It's still in the same Bible that I got. It's there, but when you are blind and you've been taught certain things, that's all you see. And so now we can get back to let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father. That's all we can do.
I don't have a question, I have a comment. When I first started teaching, I taught at a Catholic school for about 10 years. And they taught that the Pope, I do too, I apologize for myself. But they taught that the Pope is the only one that can interpret scripture. And it's so antithetical from what I'm learning now that I'm learning the truth. They are totally away from the Bible. And it's amazing that so many people here in America, even the black churches, have adopted some of the Catholic beliefs. And so how do we get to the people to wake them up? Because they don't know.
But really, guys, by being a light, just by doing what we're doing now, just being a light, and you will know that, it's like you dropping little nuggets. And if a fish bite, then you spawn on that. I mean, that's basically how you're doing. You're learning to be wise. Scripture says he who wins souls must be wise. And then you just throw a little hint out there. Michael said, man, I'm going fishing tomorrow. Now he want me to go, but he ain't asked me, but he did ask me. But so if I want to go, then, oh yeah, man, I go with you. And so you learn to be wise. You talk to your friends like, man, I can't wait to celebrate Passover. That's another way asking your friend, do you want to come? So you try to see, is she gonna respond? Like I took a note to school because we wasn't here for young, I think it was young Tarua, and we stayed out. And so I took the note and told the principal, or I told the lady, I said, ooh, we had a good time celebrating young Tarua. So I stood there waiting on her to say, she's a Christian, you know what I'm saying? But we talk. And I know that they can tell that it's different, even though we believe Yeshua HaMashiach Jesus now. And so you just be a light. I am not coming in saying that. I'm just throwing little nuggets, and just going about my business. That's what you do. That's what you're talking about. Saying one soul. Because this is what I have learned too. Don't make it bad for the next person that comes. Man, I heard about y'all Hebrews, man. Y'all crazy, man. Don't make it bad. Just throw a little hint and go about your business. That's all. Be wise. Because you might, and then don't think you're going to be the one that your friend's eyes are open up. All you're doing is planting seeds. But ain't nothing growing. You just keep doing your part. That's all you can do. If your friend never tell you to shut up, I don't want to hear it no more, then you just keep sowing. But once they say shut up, I don't want to hear it no more, then you have to respect that person.
I had somebody say that. I wasn't going to shut up, but just recently I asked, would you like me to talk to you about what we're doing so there's no assumptions, because